Hello, everyone. Thanks again for joining us here at the Action Sci-Fi Fantasy and Creators Lounge. I am your host, Barry Gaines of Gaines Entertainment, as well as the writer, director, editor of the hit streaming series A World of Worlds that you can see on Amazon, Google Play, Binge Horror, and SoFiTV.com. But right now, I have an actress who's in so many action, sci-fi, fantasy films that I had to sit down with her and just pick her brain and see, what she has done. So everyone, please give a round of applause for Olga Petrovic. Is that how to say your last name? Huh?
Petrovic.
Petrovic. Ah, I like that.
Nobody move!
Too bad. I never planned to play fair.
The balls on this guy. I'll ask you once. Where's the fucking money?
Welcome to this sci-fi action sci-fi fantasy Creators Lounge. So, see, I'm bobbing over my own title.
It's okay.
Yeah. So you know what? Listen, you reached out to me, and I'm glad you did about doing an interview about your career, your ongoing career, and I know that you are pretty much an accomplished fighter. You are a martial artist. You've been doing it for a long time. And I guess that's kind of how will help you get into this whole genre of the action, the action world. And we just want, I just like to know, like, how did you start this whole thing? Like, how did you start, doing your martial arts as well as getting into the acting world? Like, where this all began?
First of all, hello, Barry, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Really excited. You're welcome. Well, yes, I started karate when I was 8 or 9 years old. So my main motivation was Bruce Lee, believe it or not.
That's right.
Motivation to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I remember I was watching Bruce Lee movies when I was 5, 6 years old. And I came to my parents after one of those movies. And I said, Mom and Dad, I really want to do this. And they thought I'm crazy. At a time, it wasn't common for a female 5, 6-year-old female to go into martial arts. People would consider it, more conservative male sport. And they didn't take me seriously. And a few years later, we moved to another city and we had presentation at a school. It was karate school, came to do demonstrations, entertainment. That was their marketing part for signing up to their club. And I went back home so excited. I remember like it was yesterday. I took that piece of paper and I went into my parents and I said, can I please go? And that's how everything started. So ever since I haven't stopped, but of course it's way less now because there is only so much you can do.
No, it is. So, so you think about it, you started with martial arts, you're going through life like everything else. When did you get into acting?
Honestly, my first gig was in a high school. And there was a serious show that this whole thing started from a few people and then actually expanded that we would fill up the whole theater of 200 seats. Mm-hmm. And then we were in the morning show on TV, and then there was some competition over TV. I won that, and things just started happening. So while I was at a high school, that Cabaret 13, it was called like that, that was going on for all 3-4 years of high school. And that's how actually everything started. And that's where my love for acting actually really, really was recognized. And that's when I really felt it. This is something what I would like to do.
Did you go straight into like action films or what?
No, at the time that was a theater. Mm-hmm. So, well, what was intriguing the first time was the show was structured in a way that I had multiple roles. So that was interesting part. When I would play gypsy, then I would play politician, then I would play teacher, then I would play a singer on the street. And then I realized, wow, this is something that it's amazing because you change yourself, your personality, your energy through so many different characters, and you get to explore, and it's a whole another world. So filming started here in the States. So they started a few years ago, and it's been a wild journey because you know how people say you can see in Hollywood, you have a lot of actors that are chosen based on their character, and people already started recognizing that when I submit my demo reel for auditions. There is a lot of action in it, and there were comments, "You're always a bad guy." So it just happened to be like that because I really wanted to incorporate my martial arts and, you know, high intensity interval training and physical activity into acting. When you're doing play, it's different. You know, you have a script, you have standard play, but you have not have a lot of that kind of action. So even though I wouldn't like to be character type special one, I guess I accidentally got into that, but I don't mind because I'm actually enjoying that the most.
No, that's good. That's good. I mean, so when did you come to the country?
2007 in June.
Wow.
Wow.
Pretty recent. Wow. Yeah, you kind of knew.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. And when you came here, you kind of, I guess, like you were saying, you pretty much just jumped in. I mean, you pretty much just went out and, you know, start doing what you love to do, and in between everything. Now, when you do that, being that, you know, how you started, especially, you know, with your martial arts and everything, how do you prep for any role? Do you have a thing when you prep?
The thing.
Yeah.
Watching your interview yesterday, the other one. Well, it really depends what I do. If we're talking about action and video production and filming, that's completely different story than my thing in a theater. If it's, which one would you like to hear first?
Well, like I guess for anything, I guess it's different from theater to film.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if you have like one type of thing that you do no matter what. It kind of gets you in a place to prepare yourself for whatever you're going to do.
Well, before I start, I like to turn my phone off. All noises.
Right.
All noises.
Turn it off. Right.
It usually happens that you get some interesting phone calls and text messages while you're driving so fast, and then things happen on the road. So I like to be in my zone.
Right.
So to get mentally prepared for it depends how challenging the role is. So if it's some very physically demanding role, such as in action and filming, then my preparing doesn't consist of preparation of like one day. That means constant physical activity during the course of time of filming or before we start filming, which in my case, it's high intensity interval training, weights, running, depending what it is. I mean, that's generally part of my life, but especially if it's for a specific role, then I just dedicate more attention to those aspects, depending on what kind of fighting scene do we have, what is the choreography like, because if I'm in a better shape, there is less likelihood that I will get hurt on the set. So it's really important.
And do you help with the choreography sometimes? Do you find yourself helping with the choreography so far? You know,
yes, it happened. I mean, for the boss one that you saw where I was a cocaine drug dealer. We had a professional stage combat instructor, but she's never had actors with a professional or semi-professional martial arts background. So the guy was a boxer, I was in the karate, I was doing a little bit BJJ. So we actually all contributed to that because she realized that she can have higher expectations for us, and also that she can, you know, make the choreography a little more challenging and make a more action out of it.
Right.
Comparing to just regular people who have never had experience with martial arts.
Now, have you hurt you? I'm sorry, I cut you off. Have you ever hurt yourself like during one of these? Because it's independent. Doesn't matter if it's independent or a big film. You know, you're gonna have things happen. You know, have you ever had that before?
Yes, it happened on the same set twice. Once I hurt my hands on the table, but this was just me on my own from slamming my hands. You know, when you have a lot of takes, and when you shoot from different angles, you get to do one scene a million times from 3 angles. So they had to go get me bucket of ice, and I had to put my hands in the ice. It was so painful.
Yeah. I hope it came out good.
Yeah, and then at the same set later on, we had some flips and some sweeping with feet, and he had to flip me over his whole body, and then I have to literally fall down. So when you do that 10, 15 times.
But did it have like a mat or something underneath?
No, I mean, look, regardless of that, when you do that flipping many times to the camera, you know, yes, your glutes are softer part of your body, but still you cannot specifically predict that you're going to fall under the specific angle. So, yeah, that was a little challenging, but hey, keep it going, unless you really.
Well, that's good to hear. I like that. You keep it going, man. You only got one shot. Just get it done. And
yes. I mean, the more prepared you are, and the more I'm talking prepared physically and mentally, mental plays huge part, which people are not aware a lot of times. So the more you mentally come prepared and physically, of course, the faster it's going to be. The less stakes you guys are going to take, and it's going to be more smoother.
Right. No, very true. How many shows have you been in? You know, that deals with like, you know, action or.
Well, with action recently, I don't know. Was it 5, 6?
Yeah, but 5, 6 so far, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was 5, 6. I kind of stopped counting. I don't want to count until I get. That's
all right.
Well, I have actually 2 or 3 more lined up. One stopped because of Corona.
Yeah.
So if I count those, that's probably 7, 8, or maybe, I don't know.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, you got a lot left to do. So I'm just wondering before you started, because you just got here too, and you do a lot of theater now, right? I mean, have you found yourself in theater more than film?
I have to be honest with you. I am slowly shifting from theater to video productions, but it's really such a valuable experience that I've gotten through the theater. So the last piece of work that I've been in is the Oliver production musical at the Vam York Theater, Gainesville Community Playhouse. And this is my first time being in a musical, and that's actually the main reason why I accepted it, because of singing. I don't sing usually, but this is me breaking the ice and, you know, want to put one more thing under my belt.
Okay, so you sing as well. That's awesome.
Well, I don't call myself singer, and I don't go to the auditions for musicals, but I can sing. So if you want to know that. There
you go. That's a triple threat right there. You can fight, you can sing, and you can act. Yeah, yes.
So this is just me breaking the ice. So that's it was hard to drag me into the production. I have to say that it was so hard. But I have to say now, we were like a few weeks in already in the rehearsals, and I really started finding enjoyment. Of course, I've never done musical before, so I've never been in a part of such a large cast, 20, 30 members. There is choreography involved, there's the dancing involved, you know, so there are more components than just in a straight play.
Now, when you are, since you like you say, you're transferring more to movies, you know, trying to get into more film sets, are there characteristics, something about the set or the people involved or the director that you say they have to have this in order for me to feel comfortable and for me to even say yes to? Like, are there certain characteristics, just approaches that, you know, that kind of attracts you more if that production has it?
Yes. But to begin with, how we all start to work together. I'm talking from the beginning approach of being professional. So we all know that we're very busy people, and respecting someone's time is really important to me. Of course, I've been in a situations when, we would all wait outside and the main person that has key didn't come for 30 minutes. But I don't think I have time for that anymore, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
Not that I'm anything special. It's just, it's time to move on. And there are so many talented people around, and professional people that cannot wait to get down to business. We could have done so many things in just those 30 minutes. So what I really the most appreciate is very professional approach. Regular audition. I prefer, of course, interview. Now COVID-19, but I've been having the Zoom interviews with people, so that's fine too.
Yeah, that's Zoom. Here we go.
But not just, hey, send me a reel and send me your resume and headshot. You will never know who I am, actually, unless you really get to talk to me, see me even over the camera, or we meet in person. You feel my energy. You see me overall as a complete human being versus just over the piece of paper or my headshot or demo reel even. So demo reel might not actually show many other things that I can do that you might be able to realize from just talking to me. So I really appreciate that. Professionalism, after all.
Because you appreciate actually, the directors or producer really want to see you, like they want to talk to you, and and I agree with that. I mean, I'm that way myself. I like to know the person. I don't even want to talk movies a lot of times. I just want to see them as a person, talk about life, kids, whatever, things you've done, things you want to do. What kind of ice cream you like. Just be a regular person, just to see who you are, because my thing too is that you're going to be around other people of like minds. You just don't, because you have a talent. If you're talented, but if you're not individually connected with the crew, then it won't work. It'll just be chaos, and we just don't have the time, right? So I appreciate that you look for that as well. You're like, listen, if they don't want to talk to me, they just want to throw me into the weeds. That's already a problem. So, and not even know who I am.
Well. Let me just say something on that note. I've been in a position where I was just been thrown in a fire, and if nothing else, it taught me life. And actually, if that person really sees potential and sees me as a good fit for the role, I don't mind jumping in a fire.
Okay.
I guess I've been trained myself through all these years to be able to get in a fire regardless of the circumstances, and to deal with very hard people, and to just turn that off out of my mind. So if I sign a contract and if I'm getting paid for it and time is going, you're paying me for it, so you're losing, not me, right? So whatever it takes, sure, I have no problem. I'll sit there on a set and wait as long as we need to, or, things are not ready. I mean, that's part of the entertainment industry anyway. I know my mom told me last year, I don't know, I think I complained to her how we started at 10 instead of 9. And she said, hey, my dear daughter, if you want to stay in here, you got to learn how to deal with it and actually to accept it. So she's a violinist, professional violinist. So,
okay. So she's been in the game. Okay.
Yeah, she's been touring around. She's getting ready to retire. I think she's already ready to just get her quartet and just play a little bit. But she's been all over the place and all over the world. And that's one of the, I really remember that advice. So ever since I really am, like, I just turn off and I find my corner. There is always something to do. I can work on my lines. I can work on my mental prep. I can go get her water. I can, there is always something to do.
Yeah. And exactly, and especially for like indies, because, we always need help. Like if you're on the side, it's like, hey, you can just help out,
Exactly. Well, indies are like, when you're working for a small business company, so you learn to do everything. So
right. You juggle everything.
There's this thing, there's nothing, I can't do this or I can't do that. Try it,
Yeah, you never know. You may like it. You know what I'm saying? Let's just give it a shot.
Exactly. I made myself do slating
Oh,
with
yeah, right.
our film group, and I actually fell in love with it. I was all over the place. I liked it. I was running it. Keeps you active. You know, you
Yeah.
gotta.
Clapping everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wow. And it's kind of people waking people up. Like, come on now. Well, you think of it this way, like everything you've done, and you're still doing. I mean, what have you learned? Like, what's something that say, you know what, I've learned this. And what's one big thing that you always take with you? I know you said something before that your mom brought up about, hey, listen, this is how it is, so you better get used to it. But if there's something else that really kind of sticks with you, what else have you learned for your own experience without anyone telling you?
Well, there is one huge thing that I've learned, and not just in the acting world, which is actually more present in the acting world, but in a personal life as well, which is persistency. So self-confidence and persistency are really binded together. So that's one of the things that no matter wherever you are, if you asked me what I've learned in this world, you got to stay persistent, because nobody will do that for you.
That's right.
Nobody will go outside and put you on the line and say, hey, I have this for you. No. Maybe if you're running million in Hollywood, you have mommy and daddy, you have connections, that's great.
Yeah.
But I'm not one in a million, and a lot of us are not.
Yeah, we're not. Exactly. So,
and also to learn how to take a failure and rejection. That's such an important component. I cannot explain to you even how much.
Yeah, no.
You
gotta learn no's, because you're gonna get more no's than yeses, and you gotta turn those no's into muscle and learn. And when you get those yeses, you ready to go.
So it took me so many years. I mean, when we first time talked, you know my story of 11 years break and why.
Right.
Yeah, because I was discriminated because of my own accent, which really negatively impacted me completely. I just paralyzed. And it took me 20 years to just run into the right people. I guess it was the right moment. And, I needed all these people to tell me, actually, this is what makes you unique. This is what makes you stand out. This is actually what other people cannot do, and you can. This is what there is need out there for it. With your combination of martial arts experience and your accent, I've never been, as we discussed last time, I've never been model, skinny, tall girl. I'm never going to be like that. So it's just keep your uniqueness and, get used to rejections.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the only way you're going to stand out is being different, no matter what they say.
Yes.
You got to figure out too, if someone want to get into the game, if they want to get into acting, and specifically if they really want to get into the whole action, sci-fi, fantasy world, because it's a different genre and everybody expects certain things from certain genres. What would you tell someone to say, hey, listen, if what's something they should be concerned with? Like, if you want to get into this is what you should do.
If they should be concerned, I wouldn't say they should be concerned. I would maybe say to be aware of. But in order to do that, you really have to like the action. You really have to be ready to go that extra mile and stretch on a set for things like this. So I don't know if many people are ready to do that. So I think it's important to be mentally ready to do anything and everything, whatever director asks you. And, we know that sci-fi action is different than other things. And, you also have to be mentally prepared and ready, if you are shooting and having some, golden ball in your hands and fire, and in actual on the set there is no fire and ball, you really have to put your mind into that and the character
Yeah.
be some cuckoo from another planet.
Yeah, you gotta have an imagination.
So it takes more out of you, in my opinion. And it's amazing. It's amazing because it, in my opinion, challenges you more and actually makes you to enjoy more. Depends how adventurous you are, and also how willing you are to take, your adventure further.
Now, do you get into the whole thing of like, I know this happens a lot, slow it down. See, the pros come into the set and they're just doing their thing. You know what I mean? You got one speed, you know what I mean? And have you had that before?
Yes. Well, for the boss one, actually that was a role for a male. And they didn't have a female in mind. But then when it came to the audition, I had just plain paper and chair. And I said, can I use this chair? And I read the intro line was, boss is snoring cocaine. And I was like, oh my God. And everybody usually skips that. You get right to the dialogue because they were just describing the scene. Well, what I did, I started from that intro statement, and it was funny move the way I did that. And then my finish was I really hit that chair, and chair flew away all the way across the room.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, it was like 5 seconds, no breath, and then I got applause. And then I knew I got a role, but it was just amazing moment, something unique, and also you have to be creative. So when we got on the set, when I met the other actor, his background is in a kickboxing, and and then we had professional stage combat instructor. So she came with choreography and everything, and then he and I started really hard. And she was like, whoa. And then they had another challenge that they told us that we were too fast for camera.
Yeah.
So they said, wait, guys, this is not going to be. And she had to take a moment. We had to make a break. And she said, wow, I've never had experience. I usually had people who move slower, who have not been that active. So, it was harder for people with experience in martial arts actually to adjust to her requirements.
To movie speed. That's what they call it. Yeah.
Yes. And also there were some punches in reverse and all that looks real. I can't even explain it to you. It's very weird for somebody who has martial arts experience to actually do these scenes. So it was kind of really funny and took us time to adjust and slow down. And, you have to do first, you just stand and do choreography. You just try it. And then you go slow motion. And then we go with a 10% speed, 30% speed, 50% speed, 70%, 80%. And then we can't even get to 100 because it was too much.
Too fast. Yeah. It happens. Well, so what do you think if someone wants to get in, what's a do and don't? I mean, what's something that if someone wants to get into the industry, I guess just in total, just in general, what's something that someone should do and something that they shouldn't do? So let's just go for like something they shouldn't do. What shouldn't you do?
It's really important in this world and everywhere else pretty much in the business world to be a good team player. So, putting those in the clouds and, exposing yourself in that way is not going to bring you any good. And I just talked to a colleague of mine. She was chosen to be part of the program in New York, and it was few weeks program. And she really had a challenge with that because there were people like that there. And, at the end of the program, they had to talk to people from the program, had to talk to them to tone them down. But sometimes you don't have that. So it's really important to learn not to be like that and to stay humble.
That's right.
And wherever you are. regardless, doesn't matter if you're in $1 million movie, if you're in Hollywood, or you're doing only indies. It's really, really important to stay humble and the same from the moment you start to the moment you finish. And also that's what is going to get you other gigs.
Yeah, because we talk. People talk.
Because yeah, people talk, exactly. You never know whom you're going to meet, who knows whom. And it's really easy to leave a bad reputation out there. You can be as beautiful as you are, you can be, you know what I mean, but that personality, not many people enjoy that, especially if you're having a lot of teamwork, unless you're doing monodrama or whatever. It's really important to be humbled and get everything down to normal level that everybody can function and work properly on the set.
Is there another movie that you're ready to roll? Because I know you say you want to lean more into movies.
Yes.
Obviously.
Well, I was at the same time I was working on filming of it's called Skeeter Key, and that also had to stop because of Corona. And I am a doctor biologist in that film.
Okay.
Actually,
appropriate for this time.
Yeah,
You
released actually deadly mosquitoes on the little island because mayor of the island and developers wanted to make a whole big city and build stuff there. So it's very interesting role. She's a doctor, very good doctor, but she becomes a killer in order to save the island. So
interesting.
it's very interesting role. And there is one more, which is more sci-fi action, but I can't talk a lot about it. It's a space girl who's trying to save people in the space and fights a lot. So
okay, well, space and fighting always works well. I mean, you've done a lot, and you're going to be doing a lot. So I know we're going to all see Olga really soon and much more production, guys. So get ready for it. That's what she wants to do. She's coming up the stage, and she's trying to come into your living rooms. So get ready for her. You know what I mean? And I just want to say, Olga, thank you so much for being on my show. I'm so humbled. Thank you so much for even wanting to be part of this, and talk about your career and everything else. And we really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And everyone out there, we will be back again with another interview. And I want to say thank you for everyone who's watching, and we will see you again really soon. All right. Take care. See you, Olga.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day.
Thank you.